Welcome to an in-studio performance here at the beautiful campus of Mercy College in Dobbs Ferry, New York, right on the banks of the Hudson River. I'm your host, Coach, from 107.1 The Peak, a radio station here in New York, and I'm sitting here today with three guys that I've been following for a really long time. I've watched them kind of grow and develop their sound, and I'm super psyched to have them here. East Love here in studio at Mercy College. How's it going, guys?
Amazing. Hey, Coach.
All
Thank
right.
you for having us here.
Incredible.
Thank
No
you to Mercy.
problem.
Thank you to Coach. Thank you to 107.1 The Peak.
And
If anyone else wants thanks, we're giving them out.
That's
now.
right.
Line
up.
This is the time. Yeah.
Well, let's start off with a song. Let's go.
Let's do it. All right. This is a song called Gray Turns Gold.
Well, I wonder how long will it be? 'Cause I've been trying to get the time on my side. Feels like half a century. Westward to a sunnier street. They say that you got 9 lives. I'm running out of gasoline. December days, they might feel cold, but you got to know that the gray turns gold. When I get up, it knocks me down. I'm on my knees. I got new clothes, cut off my hair, but it didn't change a thing. So wake up, the sun is in your eyes. Just lace up your muddiest boots and don't you dare apologize. December days, they might feel cold, but you got to know that the gray turns gold. Dum, da, 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 dum. Da, 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 dum. Da, 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 dum. That the gray turns gold, 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 gold. Gray turns gold, gray turns gold. That the gray turns gold, 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 gold. Gray turns gold, gray turns gold. December days, they might feel cold, but you got to know that the gray turns gold.
In studio with East Love here in Westchester at Dobbs Ferry, in Dobbs Ferry at Mercy College. A new song off one of the new songs you've been kind of slowly rolling out over the course of the year, right? Tell me about the new, is it an EP or an album that's coming out?
It's a slow drip, that's for sure. It
It's
is
a new
an
format.
EP. It is, yeah. It's but it's an EP. It's actually called Day Of. We actually went back and forth a lot, saying should it be the day of or just day of?
Maybe it should be called Slow Drip.
Maybe we should change the band name to Slow
We actually
Drip.
haven't really announced the name of it yet because we are releasing it one song at a time. And at the
Yes.
end, these
It'll be a
days, it's kind
grand-
of, especially for a band like us, there's
Yes.
not much benefit to releasing like a ton all at once,
Right.
Keep the momentum going. So at the end, maybe we'll release it and announce the new name, Slow Drip.
Slow Drip EP. Thank you.
You experienced it, now you have the name.
Well, I was going to ask you about making an album nowadays. It's like, do albums really matter as much as they used to? It's more about the song, right? Each song one at a time, and maybe it's good reason to release them one at a time like you are.
Yeah, I think to Rob's point, if you are a major name in the space and there's a ton of anticipation of, hey, the album is dropping at midnight at this time, it really doesn't matter because you can drop a whole album and everyone's going to listen to it back to front. If you have a little less exposure, like the band formerly known as East Love, now Slow Drip, has.
The album name, it's the band name.
It's everything.
Change our names.
Well, yeah, I mean, my name is Lucas Slow Drip Effman. But when you have a little less exposure, each different thing you release has an opportunity to catch a little bit of momentum. And if you can catch momentum one after the other, it can be a compounding benefit. So.
Yeah.
Right. It's kind of, a new way of being a musician nowadays. In the old days, the album was the whole thing, and you release one single, then boom, the album.
Yeah, that's true.
You guys started writing the album during lockdown, right? And you guys are all in New York City,
We are Brooklyn.
right? Which obviously was hit probably the hardest in the country as far as COVID goes. So one of the good things I think that came out of COVID is that we had a lot of really creative, talented people with a lot of time on their hands. And I feel like that's what you guys had. So you worked on writing this whole album together?
Yeah, I'd say our songwriting process is, it varies. It's varied over time. It varies depending on the song. And I'd say these songs were actually a collection of songs, some of which were born way before COVID hit, some of which were fully written, and we were just waiting for the right opportunity to record them, and some of which we actually wrote from scratch during COVID. So, thinking back, I'm not going to, recap each song one by one now, but each one kind of has its own story as far as how it was born, how it came together, and how we eventually kind of came to record it during COVID.
Awesome. When you guys are writing songs, how does it work? You sit down with your computer. Sometimes
computer.
With a guitar. Sometimes it is with a laptop.
We
though,
probably
right,
do
Robbie?
have a computer too. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you sit down with your guitar? I'm saying, and start out with a song, a guitar part, and then add the lyrics. Or how does it work?
We were just talking about this. One thing I'll say, and then I'm sure everybody has their own thing to add here, but there's always a kernel of something. Whether it's just an idea that we like and we really want to bring to life in a song, or it's just a melody that's catchy that's stuck in our head that we don't even have an idea or a lyric for, or sometimes the song just kind of all comes together all in one. And it's kind of interesting to see. Either way, though, we always, as a group, wind up coming together. And whether some person thought of a lyric, another person thought of a melody, all of our songs, in one way or another, are a group effort. And I think that's kind of what defines our style and our sound, is like that individual perspective that each person brings to the song.
For me, a lot of the time, I feel like, all of us were constantly sending voice notes back and forth to each other, just like, oh, this was this. And you can always hear like a car honking in the background.
So it starts on your phone, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I feel like for me, a lot of the time, for some reason, it's like when I'm biking, I'll just, I'll use a like city bike to get to and from
the wind flowing
in
through
the
his
city,
hair.
and all of a sudden it's just like I'll start like
Always
humming something for whatever reason, and it's like have to stop as soon as possible, capture it with a fire truck passing by, and then we'll all get together later and be like, we got to talk about this.
Yeah.
And I'm always really excited to show these guys because we've all been friends for a long time. We're all really good at kind of supporting each other and being like, that's good, let's take it and let's do something with it.
Or that is that good.
I was just about to say.
Throw that in the trash.
I think one thing to note, you mentioned things we need to talk about. We need to talk about your music writing safety. Because you mentioned you have it with cars going by, you're on a bike.
Always
there's
wear a helmet.
Some emergency vehicles, so music safety is key.
I feel like it's not good that his mind is the clearest when he's doing these very important things.
Yeah,
he's an
that's
extreme
true.
athlete. He's an extreme writer, actually.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a new brand.
There you go.
But it is funny. It is always kind of like, whether it's biking or like taking a shower or even like trying to fall asleep, it's when your mind kind of
It's just the clearest.
goes a little bit blank and you're not
allows
really
things to kind of bubble up. And
it's when you are going to sleep, it's the worst, because you're like, I have an idea, I think it's good, I'm so tired, I need to wake up early, but I know if I don't do this now, I'm not going to remember this.
Right.
And so sometimes you try to convince yourself that it's not that good, so you can go to sleep, or you just suck it up and you grab the phone and record it.
And
then one last important thing that I think about our songwriting process that over the years we've refined is just to not give up when you're at like 90% of the song.
Like a
and you've
stalemate,
just got those last two lines, you just can't figure out the word, and you're spending so much time on it, and it's so just like everyone wants to go home and everybody's tired. And we've just, I think, over the years learned that like you just got to keep going so you can finish the freaking song, and
always
it's
right,
done. Yeah.
right. Well, just when you think you can't go anymore, there's a little more to go, right? You just keep on pushing through, right? Well, let's get into another song, and this one I think is an East Love classic. So
Some might say that. Some might say that.
Vintage.
All right, we're going to start off with a little intro you may recognize, and then we'll go into the song.
Wise men say only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you. But I can't help falling in love with you. Yeah, we were talking oh so close on this Friday night. A million faces overdose, and yours I happened to find with a smile that exploded across your face and then mine. It's got me wondering, how is it gonna be without this bottle of wine? The phrases you don't wanna hear, paired with strangers and cheapy. What can I say to make me someone worth believing? So this time, yeah, this time I'll get it right. So can I call you on a Sunday afternoon? Don't want my words to be confused under the shadow of the moon. We'll do it right, bring it to light. Why don't we leave this here tonight? So can I call you on a Sunday afternoon? Now the time's gone, but it floats. I still feel your eyes, green and cautious, like you know. Got me categorized like I couldn't be your kind of lover. But can I change your mind? Can we slow it down? Look around, I wanna give you my time. The weekend story never long, full of dive bars and stale love songs. What can I say to make me someone worth believing? So this time, yeah, this time I'll get it right. So can I call you on a Sunday afternoon? Don't want my words to be confused under the shadow of the moon. We'll do it right, bring it to light. Why don't we leave this here tonight? So can I call you on a Sunday afternoon? So can I call you on a Sunday afternoon? Don't want my words to be confused under the shadow of the moon. So can I call you? Don't want my words to be confused. Whoa, we'll do it right, bring it to light. Why don't we leave this here tonight? So can I call you on a Sunday afternoon?
Hanging out in studio with East Love, just outside New York City at Mercy College in this beautiful studio. Let's take a trip right now, close your eyes, and we'll take a magical
Let's.
journey back to the beginning of East Love. Now, you guys all grew up together, right?
We did. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, there's elementary school, preschool, middle school, whole mixture. But yes, we've known each other for a long time.
Yes, and I know Alex interned at the radio station I work for, 107.1 The Peak, and he must have been a good intern because I vaguely remember Alex, and usually it's the bad ones you remember. But I remember his face and him
perfectly
being there.
forgettable.
I remember his face and him being
Yeah.
there. Usually it's the ones like the ones that refuse to fold the T-shirts. You're like, okay, you don't know. But
That was
Alex,
a great folder.
so Alex must
obedient,
have been
yes.
one of the good ones.
I had a absolutely fantastic time interning at the Peak.
Good.
I would.
Up until now.
Am I still interning for the Peak?
You
Once
might
you're an
be.
intern, you're kind of always an intern.
Yeah.
There are many days I feel like I'm still interning at the Peak. But
I had a great time. I organized CDs.
Yes.
I learned a lot about music
What,
history.
What did you learn, Al?
yes. Right now, list all the things you've learned.
List
right
one
now.
thing.
No, I'm just-
I just learned what it's like being around cool guys like Chris.
There we go.
Al, there
Nice.
he knows.
And
he
Jimmy
knows.
Fink.
That's right, and
there we
Jimmy
go.
Fink, of course.
I am to the question. So we started playing together, us three, senior year of high school. Me and Rob played together in middle school. Bunch of old age homes, and there was one
Charity.
band, maybe two
Community service.
separate. Right? Did we get credit for that somewhere, or just
It
common
helped us
credit?
get into
Could
college.
they even hear
Okay.
you? Is the question at the
That's-
old? At
the
the
answer
old
was
folks' home.
no. And it
There's
might have been for the
actually
best.
there are some amazing video. They're just like from whatever year that was. I'm not going to try to guess because I got it wrong. But cameras were not what they are now.
Right.
So we have some really grainy videos. You can kind of make out like two people playing guitar, and you see some people who's are very much like standing like this, who are in the middle of the floor, just kind of like.
Oh, they're going.
Yeah, they're
all right. Well, there you
going
go.
for it.
They were going for it.
It was heartwarming.
That is cool.
was.
We don't know if they could hear, but they knew what was going on enough to dance.
That is cool. Now, I have to tell you, the first time I ever saw you guys live was memorable for me. And I'll tell you why. At the time, you were going by the band name A Good Time, I think.
Oh, right.
If I remember.
We're going deep into the
I didn't mean
archives
to
here.
bring that up again. It seemed like you didn't want. But that was originally
We're
you
like,
were.
ooh.
Originally, you were A Good Time. A
Yeah,
Good
well,
Time.
really quick.
Yes.
That was it was never really intended to be a band name. I would say like we moved to the city after
Yes.
college and we kind of decided to just start playing music for fun, and we were mainly doing covers. We were recording videos, putting them on Facebook at the time because I guess that's where everyone was watching videos. We started
Yeah.
a page, and it was meant to be kind of like. Well, we called it A Good Time because it was kind of
Right.
meant to just be like a casual good
Like-
time thing. Like
Yeah.
we featured like this girl that we grew up with, our friend who's a beatboxer.
Just a
other
place
friend
where you
who
can
played
go on
electric
Facebook
guitar.
to have a good time.
Yeah, exactly. And then we did like an
community.
open mic. Then we got asked to open for another band, and at a certain point, we were just like, I guess we're a band now.
It's like, are we a great time now?
Yeah.
Have we evolved?
So there was a renaming that happened, but
East Love is a good change, I feel like.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
good change. And so I remember the first time I saw you guys, I work with Robbie's dad, Jimmy Fink, at the radio station. He invited me to see you guys. You were playing, I believe it was like a Mexican restaurant
Yeah,
on like
East
the
Side
Upper East
Cantina,
Side.
yes.
The East Side Cantina in New York City. And
I'll never forget it.
I went to a concert that night, and afterwards, I swung by and saw you guys. And I was dating somebody at the time who didn't want to go see A Good Time. And
She was not looking for a good time that
And
night.
I broke up with her. That night, I was like, well, then I guess you're not coming to Terminal 5 to see the other concert because I'm
Wow.
going for a good time.
Wow.
And we
Really
broke up with
clarifying
her.
moment there.
Yeah, broke up with her, went to see A Good Time, and you know what? It's worth it.
Never looked back.
Never
looked
looked
back.
There it is. You know,
If you don't come with me to a good time, you can't go to
That was
Bruce
it.
Springsteen.
We were
with me.
done.
Yeah.
We were done.
Amazing.
He ended the relationship. She could have been the one, but you know what? It was a heck of a night over at East Side Cantina. No, I'm just-
Wow.
but you've graduated from playing the East Side Cantina, which I don't know, is that still there? Do we even know? We're
We don't
giving a
know.
Plug.
Well, I don't know.
It could
Do you
be.
know?
It was a cool place.
it was such a special experience. I decided never to go back again.
It was a moment in time.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
You've graduated since to play some pretty big clubs in New York City. What's your favorite place to play now?
It's a great question. I think my favorite shows that we've done are probably at the Cutting Room. I'm sorry.
I mean, that was mine. I don't know what else to say.
There's many options, so start thinking now. But I just feel like that venue it's amazing because one, it sounds great. The sound in there is amazing. The staff just like really cares about getting it right, and sound check doesn't feel rushed, which is not always the case, unfortunately. It's a great vibe. It visually is a really cool place. I've seen other acts that I really love and respect from big and small there. So I've just had
because New York is full of great small clubs, big clubs, medium-sized clubs.
Exactly. But that's one of my favorites.
I'll go because I'm straddling.
All right,
two
so
right now,
so I don't want to say that it's my favorite because I have a lot of favorites. However,
political.
I feel that Rockwood Music Hall just feels kind of like Rockwood Music Hall kind of feels like a second home to us. It's just like so comfortable there.
Which stage, Al?
We know the people there.
Pick a stage.
All the stages. Yeah, we've played a lot of great shows downstairs at stage 3, but just generally they're so welcoming, and it's just it's great seeing the other artists who are playing there the same night, and it's just
It's an artist's venue in a lot of ways.
Yeah, we love it. So
you run into other New York City bands and artists that you like and listen to there in the crowd a lot.
So I'll give one. It's not my favorite because those two are the ones.
Yes.
But we played, and we only played one show here, but we played at City Vineyard, and it was a very unique experience. It's on the water. It's all floor-to-ceiling glass sort of windows and whatnot. And we had a very memorable, sort of hilarious moment there where Al decided to do an ad-lib in the middle of a harmony.
Yeah.
Like we practice. I mean, obviously you practice a lot.
Yeah.
You practice makes perfect, and it's this harmony. It sounds so good, and Al just goes and just completely changes the words in the middle, which was memorable and fun.
It was involuntary. We know.
Especially
You don't
in
need
hindsight.
we don't need to rehash.
It's
it.
all
Can I just
good. I mean,
defend
I don't
myself for
blame you
1 second?
every day.
All right, sure.
It's that we have a lot of jokes. Like we're always joking around.
Yeah.
So sometimes the jokes just like when you're actually performing, they like bleed into the
He was
performance.
too comfortable. He
So
felt
it
like
was
he
too
was in another
comfortable
room.
with the joke ad lib that just ended up happening.
even though
in
he
the
had
show.
never done it before.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I think you know what I realized. It all comes full circle. He was still having a good time. He didn't realize we had
Right.
he had
He had graduated to
Yes,
East.
right.
He wasn't East Love yet. He was still a good time.
Right. Back
Yeah.
to you, Chris.
Well, just to quickly kind of talk through a few others, just because I feel like there's some other notable ones that maybe weren't one of our favorites, but are still worth mentioning. Brooklyn Bowl was actually our biggest show and one of our.
Brooklyn Bowl is a cool place. They've got good food there, which of course is important to me. And you can go bowling.
I'm not kidding. I think I'm going there tonight. We all may be going there tonight.
Oh, there you go.
There's an emo night actually, which why
Is
not?
it really?
Yeah.
That's what it's called, emo night, or is it just?
Yeah, no, it's like like
That's
Simple
great.
Plan and Good Charlotte covers,
cool.
and who the hell knows what else, but should be fun. But Joe's Pub was another one that
That could be my favorite.
I've really liked.
There you go.
We
Lucas
played
has a
at
good
the Highline Ballroom. We opened for Haley Reinhart there,
Cool.
who was awesome.
There's so many
Webster Hall.
cool places,
Yeah.
and I was just at Webster Hall the other night. There's so many cool places.
So many.
I was at Webster Hall one time. Oh no, the Bowery Ballroom, and I saw the Olsen twins.
Wow.
They,
In
they
the
weren't
crowd?
performing; they were standing next to me,
Oh,
and it was very.
That's
It
funny.
was just odd to see that they were like real people.
Who were they there to see? Who were you there to see? I guess.
I believe it was Greta Van Fleet when they were
there you go.
when they first were starting out.
Wow,
And I was like,
wouldn't
okay, the
necessarily peg them
Olsen
as-
twins.
yeah.
I was like, the Olsen twins are standing next. I ended up staring at the Olsen twins more than watching the show because it was just kind of interesting
Yeah, like a
to see who they were with and
experience.
stuff. Anyway, but enough about the Olsen twins.
is there ever enough about the Olsen twins?
I don't think so. Let's get into one of the new ones
All right, let's
from
do it.
East Love.
This one's called Hot Fire Chemical.
You gave me your heart. You gave me your only soul. Now you want me to let it go. I said I don't want to let it go. So tell me what's in your mind. A California paradise, or just the grass on the other side? Oh no, 'cause you got me saying, oh my, I can never let it go. All night, hot fire chemical. White light, lightning in a bottle, blind my sight, but you can see the problem, and I know you're right. I can never let it go. All night, hot fire, chemical. Daylight is creeping undercover, singing, oh my mind.
Baby, give me your hand. Want you to tell me all over again. You gotta make me understand, because I'm trying to understand.
So won't you give me a sign, some metaphorical peace of mind, or are we leaving it all behind? Oh no.
'Cause you got me saying, oh my, I can never let it go. All night, hot fire, chemical. White light, lightning in a bottle, blind my sight, but you can see the problem, and I know you're right. I can never let it go. All night, hot fire, chemical. Daylight, it's creeping undercover, singing, oh my, 'cause you got me saying, oh my, I can never let it go. All night, hot fire, chemical. White light, lightning in a bottle, blind my sight, but you can see the problem, and I know you're right. I can never let it go. All night, hot fire, chemical. Daylight, it's creeping undercover, singing, oh my, oh, 'cause you got me singing, oh my, I can never let it go. All night, hot fire, chemical. White light, lightning in a bottle, blind my sight, but you can see the problem, and I know you're right. I can never let it go. All night, hot fire, chemical. Daylight, it's creeping undercover, singing, oh my,
East Love,
All right.
formerly A Good Time.
Can we clap for ourselves after?
Yeah, clap for yourself.
Is that tasteful? There we go. There we go. It's like, I guess they do it in soccer, World Cup
That's right.
season.
That's
Yeah.
right. East Love, formerly A Good Time, potentially Slow Drip.
Yes.
So we're messing with the name. No. East Love with a great new song. And the album comes out, when does it come out? In the new year? Did we decide that yet?
Well, so
We're releasing, yeah. I mean, we've been doing, we
Yeah.
initially said one song a month. It kind of extended into one song every 6 to 8 weeks, I
Right.
would say. So we've got the 5th of 7 coming out on Wednesday, the
Okay.
21st. And then we've got 2 more, which I think we will also release individually. So
guys
there's
are
no
just-
real...
You guys are just
It
dangling
coming.
that carrot in front of your fans, aren't you?
yeah,
Yeah,
That's right.
Exactly, but then the carrot is sort of what you get, because at the end we'll release the full thing,
The
but
full thing.
it will
But you
all have
already
been
have
released
been
already.
released.
Yeah,
All right. Well, there
just
you go.
package it up.
So to run down, I'm watching you guys play, and Robbie's got a guitar. Lucas, you have that's an egg, right?
An egg
It's
back
just
here.
an egg.
It's I'm not often with egg, but today I am.
And then Alex, you've got the tambourine, and you've got, I don't know, is it some? It looks like nunchucks or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
It's been
Yeah,
through some shit.
so we brought our brand new shaker here we bought it
Oh.
specifically for this performance.
Wow.
We've had it for a long time. It's Old
duct tape.
Faithful, and oftentimes while you're playing it, you'll just start to feel like sand dropping onto your knee.
Yeah.
So we've taped it, and we continue to tape it.
Duct tape, maybe a
It's
little
still-
tin foil there. I don't even know.
I have to believe if we buy a new one, it won't sound as
It
good.
won't.
yeah,
Yeah.
It
it's
won't.
got that worn in.
You got to
warm,
stick with
organic.
it. That's been with you since the good time days.
Yeah.
It actually
It's the
has.
Revolutionary War we've had.
That's yeah. I can't remember a time when we didn't have that.
Yeah, that's important. That may be the secret to all your success.
Yeah.
is whatever that is. So I know Robbie grew up, I know, in a musical household. His father, I've seen his father's vinyl collection. It's insane. How about you guys? Did you grow up listening to music? Were your parents into it, or were they just? There are certain people that are just not music people. They don't get it like we get it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
So my childhood was filled with I have 2 older sisters, so it was, the 5 people in the family, and we would take our long car rides and just harmonies blasting left
Really?
and right. Yeah, tons of harmonies.
Like the Von Trapp family.
Yeah.
Exactly. The Partridge family, the whole lot of them, and so there's a lot of harmonies. And we're one of those families that, you sing Happy Birthday, or you sing, if it's the Jewish holidays, there's harmonies blasting. My mom is just like firing harmonies in there.
Wow.
Some work. Some, are, should be left where they came from. But it's a lot of music. My dad used to write music when he was younger.
Wow.
And he writes a lot of sort of holiday sort of parody songs. But music has certainly been a cornerstone.
So that's kind of where you put in like your 10,000 hours starting as a kid.
Exactly.
Learning what a harmony is and practicing with your family. That's interesting.
It's true. I will tell you something. I did tell my fiance the other day. I was like, hey, you just sort of need to, just tune up the game, because if you have a family and you're blasting out bad melodies, you're going to mess with their future capabilities. So
that's right. Anybody new you bring into the family also has to fall in line melody wise.
Yeah. Passion's there
and harmony wise. Yeah. And what about you, Al?
My mom was studying to become a professional violinist.
Wow.
In college, and then she kind of, for various reasons, took different roads to different professions. But then nobody else in my family was really playing instruments. We would sing casually, but then I remember my brother was gifted a electric guitar for his birthday,
right?
Which he took a few lessons and never used.
Yeah.
And then I used to sneak into his room and be like, "Can I play your electric guitar?"
Oh.
And that's kind of how I started noodling around with it.
And that's where
I have to, just in case my family listens to this, which I suspect they will. My
clarify. Go ahead.
My mom's grandfather was a fairly notable cantor. And there was music there as well.
So Robbie, then you come from the least musical of the
Yeah,
of the
apparently. I'm learning a lot.
Your
today.
dad,
No.
your dad just played it on the radio.
Exactly. No,
I've seen him play a couple.
There was always a lot of music in our house, as you know.
Yeah.
And not just my dad and the radio and the record collection, but I wouldn't say my mom is particularly musically inclined. But as soon as I have two sisters who are twins, who are 2 years younger, and as soon as we were all old enough, I feel like we, adopted the music thing and started sitting at the piano, and whether it's around the holidays or just in general, started figuring out how to harmonize together.
Right.
Which definitely informed a lot of what we do here now too as well. And so I feel like you're around music, you're surrounded by it, you're immersed in it, and it kind of automatically becomes a part of your life and informs your taste as well. I feel like, even though I don't necessarily listen to all of the same bands that I was introduced to as a little kid, it definitely set my musical tastes and sensibilities on a certain path into the future.
And that's, I think it's important if you're getting into music in any aspect, even do what I do. My parents loved music and listened to it all growing up. There was always music on, and I know an astonishing amount about girl groups from the 50s and 60s.
Nice.
For a guy who's 40 years old.
And the Olsen twins.
And the Olsen twins. People look at me like, how do you know about, and I was like, because that's what my parents listened to.
Yeah, you're raised on it.
Yeah. Do you remember the first song you ever wrote as a band?
Yeah, I think, let me try. So I was going to say this earlier, but I think Alex was the first one to really start trying to become a writer.
Right.
And that definitely taught, well, I'll speak for myself, but maybe, you probably did stuff with your dad and whatnot beforehand, but that was my first kind of foray into, or experience or exposure to songwriting. And we don't need to tell the full story, but we all went to high school together, and senior year of high school, for our what everyone calls senior options or senior project, where most people go work with a judge or do something.
Work at a radio station.
Professional. Yeah, exactly. We somehow convinced the school to let us start a band and record songs that we wrote as our senior project.
Wow.
So here we are, seniors in high school, taking off the last 3 months of school or something. Yeah. Getting together every day, trying to start writing music together, some of which were ideas that Alex had brought, some of which were new ones that we thought of together. Going back and forth to New York City, where Lucas's cousin at the time was in the School of Audio Engineering.
He's still my cousin. He wasn't my cousin. He was my cousin at the time.
He was
still my
at the
cousin.
time
Yes,
in New
just to be
York. He
clear.
is still his cousin. He now lives in California and is a very successful music producer and songwriter. And so we wound up writing, 4 songs during that project, writing and recording, 5 songs?
I think 5.
Something like that. And those songs are definitely like the first real songs that we wrote together. You Don't Know, Goodbye Generation, Try and Try. Actually, one of them we re-recorded as East Love years later.
Right.
What else is there?
You don't know? Did we say that?
I said that, yeah.
What was the other one?
Here Forever or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
We're trying to resurrect some of them because there's some pieces of some of those
that are
songs
pretty good.
They're pretty good, and sometimes we'll play them.
But
and we'll be
otherwise,
like, we should bring
yeah.
that
Do
back.
you
have
look
their
back
moments.
at those and just be like, oh god?
Yeah, they have their moments.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually
They
funny
are
because
very. Speaking of emo night,
there are still people from, obviously people who we still know in life now don't say these things or feel this way, but there's people who we knew in high school and maybe we aren't in touch with or don't see, who I feel like still bring those songs up, or they still think like those are our songs that we play now.
Right
Yeah, exactly. They're like, oh, Goodbye Generation, like love that
Well,
song.
what's interesting, and Al, I feel like you have a good story about this, but it shows how certain songs can fill a certain gap in someone's life. Because if you hear them at a certain time in your life, they become associated with that time of your life. And so I know you had said there was people at camp or something, or maybe you'd mentioned.
oh yeah, no, I was the summer after we wrote those. I was a counselor at a sleepaway camp, and recently during COVID, I got a message on Facebook from one of these kids from 10 years later, who
has a job now.
He sent me a Zoom link. He was like, "Join this Zoom." And I was
Okay.
like, okay, sure. So I go on, and it's all of these campers who I had,
And they're older now.
10 years later.
Yeah.
So as soon as I got on, they're like, oh, like I still listen to your songs, man. It was crazy.
Wow.
I mean, it was a real trip seeing them all those years later. But they, like Luke's saying, like they really just like remembered them from that summer because I was trying to promote my bands to my campers.
Yeah,
so.
I had a similar
Of course.
experience. Also a camp counselor, also trying to promote.
See, that's the thing. I was never a camp counselor. That's probably why in every Uber I get into, I'm like, hey, you hear this band, East Love? Yeah. Give it a shot. I give it a couple spins.
Yeah.
See how it feels.
There you
We've
go,
made
that's
half
your
of
way
our fans in
promotion.
Ubers and the other half at camp.
Do you remember? And I guess Alex, I'll start with you. Like,
Sure.
do you remember the first song you wrote? Just as a person, like were you like 10 years old? Did you write a song about candy or something? Whatever was the most
No.
meaningful thing in your life at that point?
I remember being kind of obsessed with trying to figure out how to write songs.
Oh, okay.
Because
Yeah.
I couldn't write them, and I really
Right.
needed to understand you
How
have an
and-
intro
yeah.
and a verse and a chorus, and I used to ask these like musical savants at our high school to
Yeah.
hang out after school and like try to learn to play a little bit.
Like Daniel Limon.
Which ones?
Well,
yeah.
shout out to Joey Grimaldi, who
there
is
you
an
go. That's true.
incredible
What about Cholhan?
guitarist.
Cholhan,
Mikey Chait, who is
Mikey Chait, very talented.
also an absolutely
I hope these
incredible
people hear
musician.
this.
Yeah.
What an honor.
And I used
Really?
to hang, and I was looking for
Really
these
defined
kernels
art.
of like how do
How
you
do
write
you
a
do it?
song?
Yeah.
And
Just listen to the Beatles. They'll
Yeah.
they'll
Right.
teach you out.
Well,
but you can't ask them questions.
You
is
can't
the
ask them
problem.
questions
Yeah.
though. No.
Yeah, it's dark.
one thing.
What about you guys? Did you guys write any songs like before? I guess high school was the first time you
just
got
wanna give-
organized and started really thinking about it. But
I want to give Alex, this isn't totally answering your question, but bear with me for a sec. I want to give him credit because I feel like when I started wanting to write songs, there was this desire, kind of like what you were describing, honestly, to want to really understand it and not just use the same chords that have already been used and do something interesting and unique and, understand the structure of a good song and whatnot. And oftentimes I think that level of, prescriptiveness holds you back when you're writing songs.
Mm-hmm.
And what I want to give him credit for is I feel like he would just kind of come to the table with ideas, didn't really know or care what the chords were. He just played some notes on the guitar together that sounded good. And sometimes they actually weren't even a real chord or whatever. And that probably would have been to me that's not, you don't do it like that. But those were how some of our best songs started, I feel like. So it's that more open-ended thinking and kind of more free spirit that I think leads to the best ending.
Yeah, my first song, I mean, it must have been in high school, but you're very classic, sort of about a girl, sort of heartbreak. Although I guess try, whatever, was not about that. It was about trying to be into someone that you weren't into. So maybe that's a little bit more clever, but yeah, I will say though, I think both of these guys are incredible songwriters. And I think what Rob said about going in there with a little bit less structure in mind and sort of letting the ideas play out, and then trying to move them towards something that might be more positively shown in a song versus just poetry or writing on its own.
Cool. Well,
Beautiful.
Speaking of old songs you've written, this wasn't one of the first songs you wrote, but I think we have some more vintage East Love right now.
This actually was, I think it might have been the second song that we ever released. This song is kind of it actually, I think, is weirdly connected to, and we can talk more about the new songs before our last song, but I feel like this song is weirdly connected to our current set of songs that we've been releasing, in that it's kind of focusing on the passage of time and being aware of it passing by in a lot of ways. And there's a line in this song which is 25 years is too much time, the city's too noisy, the country's too quiet. And we were 25 at the time when we wrote it. Mm-hmm. We're now 32. I'm turning 33 in a
couple days
tomorrow or whatever. So that's 8 years gone by. And so I don't know. This one it definitely I think one that we all felt really connected to and felt like was really special from the beginning, and also for a while was by far our most listened to song that really seemed to resonate with people. So
cool.
Yeah.
Let's do it. It's called Straight Lines.
I can't say I'm sorry for being myself, but a little less of me might be better for my health. My sneakers are roughed up, but they still work just fine. Why am I moving in circles when I'm looking for straight lines? Moving in circles, but I'm looking for straight lines. I got onto a subway, I got off in Seattle, forgot to get some sleep, and I woke up kinda rattled. But I can't plan today, 'cause I don't know the time. Why am I moving in circles when I'm looking for straight lines? Moving in circles when I'm looking for straight lines. Yeah. It is pretty cool to have a song that talks about the feeling of being stuck and trying to find your way, because whether you're on your own, whether you're doing it at work, in a relationship, I think everyone finds that feeling, and it's pretty universal. So everyone's looking for straight lines.
Know what I want, baby, know what I'm looking for. Know what I want, baby, know what I'm looking for. Know what I want, baby, know what I'm looking for. Know what I want, baby, know what I'm looking for. Know what I want, baby, know what I'm looking for. Know what I want, baby, know what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I know.
Know what I want, baby, know what I'm looking for.
25 years is too much time The city is too noisy, the country is too quiet. Why am I moving in circles when I'm looking for straight lines? Moving in circles when I'm looking for straight lines. Moving in circles, but I'm looking for straight lines. Moving in circles, but I'm looking for straight lines.
Hanging out in studio with East Love on a random Saturday.
Random Saturday.
Just outside New York City on the campus of Mercy College in Dobbs Ferry. And just having a great time.
It's not random anymore.
It's not random anymore. That's right. It's a very memorable Saturday
Yes,
now.
exactly. It was
From
once
random to memorable.
We saved a random Saturday and made it memorable.
Look at that. A good deed. Our good deeds just continue.
That's right. So I brought up the Beatles before, and when I watched that Beatles documentary, I don't know if you guys saw the latest one with all the footage of them writing songs and
Get
things. Get Back, I think it was called, right? Yeah. You kind of notice the dynamics in the band. There's Paul McCartney is kind of the serious business, let's get down to business guy. To me, at least, John Lennon was kind of the goofball, show up half an hour late, who cares, and make some jokes. And then George Harrison's like the quiet genius. It's like, yeah, we'll get one of your songs later on. And then Ringo's just kind of there to play, just kind of, have a good time. Who fits like those molds in your band is my question.
Who is who?
Who's the guy? It's like, come on, man. We have to get it going. Stop fooling around.
One is very clear to me.
I wonder what this is going to be.
This is the McCartney right here.
Yeah, it's
this guy, it's like Robbie. We probably would never get anything done without
That's
Robbie.
the McCartney.
That's true.
Very nice way of putting it.
It is. So he is the law.
Oh, okay.
All
right.
He makes it happen.
Shut up. Let's go. It's time to get down to business, guys.
He's very honestly, but he's very detailed. I guess you could say. Well, you can definitely say that.
It's a double-edged sword.
The band couldn't exist without each person, but the band really couldn't exist without this guy.
that guy.
Wow.
I'm just saying, he's just like,
Thanks, guys.
we'd still, what? If it wasn't him, we'd still be a good time.
He carried
Even though he is the one who
we wouldn't have
created
even been a good
But,
time.
Yeah.
We'd be senior. We'd be washed up senior project
We may have not
guys.
been born without
He
me.
sounds.
Okay.
It sounds like Robbie carries a paddle with him in the studio.
Yeah,
and,
I was going to say it's
whenever he
definitely
needs it.
It's
Whenever
a
he needs
water
it.
gun.
it's definitely a double-edged sword because yes, I will say, I've done the majority of to run a band and to try to grow a band with all the different platforms and services and communication between different people and coordinating recording sessions or photo shoots or whatever. Like, I'm not going to say I've done everything because I haven't, but I've definitely been more, leading the organization and the administration
You spearhead
of the band.
You spearhead that kind of
I
stuff.
spearhead it, yes. Everything's a team effort at the end of the day.
Yes.
But, it's interesting. Over however many 14 years, I guess, that we've been doing this, you need to have balance. Like everybody, especially with something like this, where it's not our livelihood, we're not depending on this to live, right? So we do it because we like it and we enjoy it. We have a good time doing it, as some might say.
Right.
You need to get out what you're putting in, otherwise the system breaks down. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so this is something which I think we've done a good job with over the years, is acknowledging where there's maybe, a fault line or a crack in the foundation where someone, I don't know who it could be, but somebody might be feeling like they're, doing more of the work, maybe more of the annoying stuff that needs to be done. And so, we kind of are good at coming together and talking about that stuff and making sure that everybody kind of pulls their weight. And one thing that we've recently been doing, because, I don't think any of us are really in love with the whole social media thing, and I'm sure it's something that you've spoken with artists about. It's just like a necessary thing that you need to do, create content to promote your music, to get out there, and it's kind of what drives a lot of discovery and success these days. And none of us really want to be spending that much time doing that. So we
Right.
kind of recently came to an agreement where everyone has a day of the week that they need to post something.
That's a
to
good
get
way
out
to
there.
do it.
Yeah, and it's helped because before that it's kind of like a constant thing in the text, like, what are we going to post? You do it, no,
Right.
you do it. I don't have anything. I'm busy working. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. And so things like that have helped, I think, perpetuate and keep us balanced.
Well, that was
overall.
my next question. So, to be a band in 2022, social media and engaging your fans is a big deal. Is a huge part of it. And you guys are always doing live streams. And I know you guys have a person you could call. At least Robbie does. His sister. That's what she does for a living. Is Instagram, and she provides content. And I've seen her work behind the scenes too. She shot some stuff around us. And
Oh, yeah.
many people think posting on social media is easy.
It's easy, yeah, no.
It's not that easy. And you guys are making music and doing that and taking care of your lives. And, oh, by the way, it's not your full-time job. You still have to treat it, though, as a full-time job on social media. So
Yeah.
how did you guys do that? I mean, during COVID, it was probably a little easier, right? So how do you guys do that now? Do you just engage your fans? Do you get messages from your fans and answer those and all that?
I think one thing that we're trying to figure out is if you don't surprise people, it gets old pretty quickly.
Right.
If you keep putting up the same kind of stuff you could post every day.
Yeah.
But if it's not good stuff, if it's not good content, then people just
Doesn't matter.
slowly tune out. Your audience slowly drips away. So I think we're just always
Slowly drips.
Slow drip.
Right. So I think that we're just always trying to come up with like, what's our next thing? What's our next project? What's the next way that we're going to get people excited about what we're doing? It's part of the reason we're here talking to you. I
Yeah.
mean, it's like we just want to find new ways to engage people and also trying to go beyond social media as much as possible and just like get in person with people and interact with fans who all over the world who have written to us, which is like the best feeling ever.
Right.
And really connect with those people on like a real level and get on a FaceTime with them and go beyond Instagram and TikTok
Yeah.
and just like have
a real
conversations with
connection.
people who actually
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the music.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I've got one more thing to add really quick, just
Yeah.
because I think it's sort of a subtle but major shift that's happened in our mentality is, you don't need to reach everyone. You don't need to have millions of fans and listeners, and at least for us, right? Like, we don't need, obviously, it's always great. We want to get more streams. We want our music to get out there and be heard by more people. But it's more about like cultivating the core of people who clearly care and have demonstrated that they care, and they're kind of in it for the long haul over the years. Some of which are people who we know personally or have met in New York. Like we talked about, we've played a lot in New York. We have never toured outside of New York, really.
Right.
But there's people, some of which who we've met on like FaceTime or something, some of which we've never met at all other than through like Instagram messages, but who've just been there over the years. There's an ice cream shop in California who the owners or, whatever are, kind of always there supporting us. They've sent us ice cream. We wrote a jingle for their just because for fun because we wanted to. But it's just kind of amazing, and those more like focused efforts on showing those people that we see them and like we care about them and we're willing to kind of engage with them on that level, because at the end of the day we're just people making music,
Right.
and what are we going to be about talking to people?
Essentially,
It's
it's
amazing.
not necessarily the amount of followers. It's the ones you do have making that really strong connection, and they're going to follow you forever, right?
Exactly.
I think what Alex said before is really important. If you boil it down to why do we do this, there's a million obvious answers, like, well, we like playing music and we're best friends. That's great.
Yeah.
The other component of it is all this stuff is non-perishable. You write songs, no matter what happens, we could stop tomorrow. We're going to have that forever. Memories, photos, content. But the thing that I don't think that I really thought about at all when we were starting is these moments where you do engage with real people who you don't know, who could be across the world, and they say, hey, this song helped me through a hard time. Or this song, like Alex said before, is they're playing, it's playing while they walk down the aisle.
Right.
These are transformative moments for strangers. and we are sitting in a room together, whether it's one of our retreats, which is sort of a fun thing we do every, like once or twice a year, we'll go writing for a weekend or not, but we have our own experiences that inform this art, and it connects with total strangers. And seeing that, people making covers of these things, it's a very unique experience, and I don't think it's like anything else that I certainly have in my life to feel that way. It's just very unique and fulfilling.
Does it blow your mind nowadays that you've got the way you guys put out music, especially at the end of the year, you get a Spotify report with like 180 countries or whatever it is, that somebody in like Sri Lanka is listening to East Love music, and you could tell how many people exactly and how many places your music is going. Does that just blow your mind?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's
pretty
awesome.
amazing. It's funny. I actually work at Spotify full time, like as my normal job, and putting together the artist side of the rap thing at the end of the year, where you see all the stats. That was like my thing that I've been spending all my time on for the past like 6 months until it launched November 30th. And I mean, it's amazing, both as obviously it was a fun project to work on, but as an artist who's going to experience that for themselves, it's mind blowing. And it's not just like the numbers, but it's like you said, like the people. Like we've actually gotten messages from someone. One comes to mind of someone in, I think, Lithuania or like Latvia or something, who's like, "Oh, I heard your song in a coffee shop, and now like I've been listening to you." Or there's this YouTube curator named Alex Rainbird, Alex and Beth, shout out to them, who we just met in person, by the way, for the first time.
The day before they got engaged.
Wow.
Quick story, Alex cold emailed these people, could be 8 years ago, and was like, "Hey, I love your YouTube playlist. Think, maybe consider featuring one of our songs." And it was straight lines, and they did. They've grown and grown and grown. They have like 1.5 million YouTube subscribers now, and have continued to be supporters of our music. Just another one of these like human connections we've made. So they've both helped other people discover our music, but also, we've connected with them. And they were in New York a couple weeks ago visiting, and we met in person. And then, as Lucas said, they got engaged like later that day or something. So
there was a funny moment. We're at dinner with them, and we were talking. Maybe we were talking about our engagements to our fiancés, not each other. And Beth was like, we've been together for 9 years, and still no ring on this finger. And Alex just sort of got quiet. Not this Alex, the other Alex.
You could see what's going on here.
And then the next day it happened. It was really lovely.
Yeah. So those connections are really what make it special, I think.
Now, you were talking about writing a jingle for that
Atomic Creamery.
Yes. Is it
And I
Atomic
wanted
Creamery?
to give them a shout out because they're the most incredible. I don't think we can
Alex
do it.
is very excited.
But I need to tell you
Go ahead.
that I was in California with my family.
Yeah.
And we're at a restaurant. And I walked out of the restaurant and I saw that I was next to the real Atomic Creamery. The ice cream
so
shop.
you hadn't even planned on going there.
I hadn't planned on going
You got to
there.
stop
and
in.
I was like,
things just
stopped
happen,
holding my tracks. I was like, I am at the Atomic Creamery. Who's been commenting on our
You gotta
amazing
stop
ice
in.
cream, by the way. They sent us ice cream, and it was truly fantastic.
Wow.
I stopped in. They give me and my family free ice cream. It was one of the
That's
best moments
awesome.
of my life.
That is awesome. Now,
We love them.
so what is the jingle then for Atomic Creamery? Can you guys play it right now?
I think we can figure it out.
If
I
we
think
can,
so.
I'd be
Let's
very-
do it
I'd be
on the
very
spot.
Impressed with us.
I would, I mean,
It would be very impressive.
On the spot,
it's been
right
a
here.
while. All right. We know the words.
Okay.
But, all right. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Shipping out fresh from California. Flavor so good that I had to warn ya. One big ice cream family. Atomic Creamery. Atomic Creamery.
There you go. I just added a little bit in towards the end. That was an ad lib.
I love that.
An Alex ad lib towards
I'm
the
very
end.
impressed with
Yeah,
that.
we can keep that in.
Yum!
Let's keep that in.
Exactly.
Yeah, we don't know how, as the first line suggested, they shipped it from California.
They shipped
Wow.
it fresh.
Fresh.
That's
out fresh
crazy.
from California to New York, and it was still frozen.
Wow.
Flavors so
That sounds good.
that I had to warn you. That's so oh man, it gets
Brilliant
me.
writing.
That's
Anyway, these days, back in the old days, If you were to write, if your song were used in like commercial, you're a total sellout. But these days, that's a really good. That's a really good option to get your music out there.
Absolutely.
Have you guys ever been featured in like commercials and stuff? Because a lot of your music is catchy and can be used for different brands and things. I feel like.
So, so what you're talking about is sync, and sync it's really the dream. Because what you can do is you can write what you want to write, and if someone takes it, you're not doing anything else unless you're writing for sync, which we're not. But it's we've had a few different spots. We had one of our songs called "Walk Outside." It was on the Melinda Gates book tour.
Okay.
We had one of our songs in a McDonald's web commercial. Was it Cupid Psycho?
Cupid Psycho.
Yeah.
We had a slice in some Amazon spot.
There was
Amazon
birds
Kids.
in like an episode of Teen Mom on MTV or something.
Yeah.
Teen Mom. Wow.
So we've tried different things over the years with sync strategy, and what we've kind of realized works best for, like, some people have an exclusive partner who will only pitch them, and no one else can pitch your music, and they go for bigger deals with, maybe it's a movie or a bigger TV
like
show
a publishing,
or a national campaign or whatever it is. We tried that, and it just it didn't really work. I don't know, maybe we weren't a big enough band for them to really prioritize us or whatever. It doesn't matter. So we've signed on to, there's a bunch of more self-serve services that are available online these days, that it's not just like TV commercials or national campaigns for major brands, but
could be YouTube videos for
a YouTube video or a wedding video, or even like they do like in-store playlisting, because you technically as a business need to pay for that as well.
Right.
And so, there's some where we get like, $100 a month or this and that here and there. But there's also a couple who have actually, even though they are digital first platforms, have become close partners of ours and like pitched us for Target, probably got us the Melinda Gates thing, probably got us the McDonald's thing. And each one of those is like a nice extra added bonus that kind of helps us kind of go and record the next record and whatever else we're going to do.
Yeah, that's a great way to get your music out there these days. We've got one more new one coming up from Eastlove. Tell us about it.
You're looking at me.
Well, okay, so this song is called Right Side of the Wrong. I think it's a good song to end with, because we've talked a lot about how, as a band, for we've been together a lot of years, we've kind of figured out what works for us. And I think early on, when we were 18 and started playing, we would have some arguments, and we'd say, "Oh, I don't want to be called Eastlove. I want to be called."
We've all quit the band many times.
We quit the band every other day.
We're all still in the band right now.
Right.
We'll see.
I quit. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. But so basically, we realized over the years we've learned how to disagree with each other in a very respectful way, and learn to say, I don't agree with you, and also, if you're right, also being right in a respectful way. And we decided over the past few years, with everything going on externally to the band and in the world, that we wanted to write a song about being able to disagree in a kind of respectful way. So that's where this song came from.
Yeah, one of the ideas that I feel like I've spoken about for a long time now is this idea of, you can be right, but if you express it in the wrong way, then you're wrong. And I think a lot of things right now with, I'm not going to get into the hot button topics, but we know with holidays coming up, hot button topics are going to be discussed. But you can. It's very challenging for anyone to listen to opposing views, because it's so visceral, and there's a lot of nuance that's required to actually effectively get a point across. And so the song it's just in the spirit of trying to find that common ground and recognizing that there are two sides to the story.
Right.
Well, it's called Right Side of the Wrong, and it will be out on Wednesday, the 21st. So that may be in the past by the time anyone sees this, but go check it out.
Well, here it is. Eastlove in studio.
All right.
I know I'm right, you know I'm wrong, but can we get there, or is it too far gone? We fuss and fight with sticks and stones. We double down now to protect our paper homes. And every Everybody's only seen in black and white, caught inside the undertow. Yeah, how we ever really gonna get somewhere if we can't get along? Living on the right side of the wrong, right side of the wrong. Yeah, we got time to spare, can we get some air? Gotta see the corner chrome. Living on the right side of the wrong, right side of the wrong. I got two eyes,
I got two eyes.
you got your own.
You got your own.
But what we see ain't you and me, is silicone. We're out of time,
We're out of time.
the rhythm's gone.
The rhythm's gone.
We're writing lines, but we can't rhyme in the same song. And everybody's only seen in black and white, caught inside the undertow. Oh, yeah.
How we ever really gonna get somewhere if we can't get along?
Living on the right side of the wrong, right side of the wrong. Yeah, we got time to spare, can we get some air? Try to see the corner chrome. Living on the right side of the wrong, right side of the wrong, right side of the wrong, right side of the wrong. Get a little, give a little, get a little, but you gotta give a little more. Get a little, give a little, get a little, but you gotta give a little more. Get a little, give a little, get a little, but you gotta give a little more. Get a little, give a little, get a little, but you gotta give a little more. Oh, how we ever really gonna get somewhere if we can't get along? Living on the right side of the wrong, right side of the wrong. Yeah, we got time to spare, can we get some air? Try to see the quarter chrome. Living on the right side of the wrong, right side of the wrong. How we ever really gonna get somewhere if we can't get up? Can't get along. Right side of the wrong, right side of the wrong. Yeah, we got time to spare, can we get some air? Try to see the quarter, see the quarter chrome. Right side of the wrong, right side of the wrong, right side of the wrong. Yeah, right side of the wrong.
East Love here in Dobbs Ferry, New York, just outside New York City at Mercy College Sound Studios. What is some advice you would give to a songwriter starting out, and maybe how to get your song noticed on Spotify, or, how do you kind of get it going? These days, it's very hard to get noticed.
Yeah. I think the resident person to ask is Rob, because Rob works at Spotify on
that's right.
on the artist team. That's the irony of this whole thing. Like, a lot of his job is focused around exactly that question, which obviously benefits us. So,
Which I have to say, though,
give us the wisdom.
I think working there actually, if anything, makes it even harder to get any benefit from working there.
Right.
Because, I mean, as you know, there's a lot of things you can do to promote yourself, but there's also playlists that editors control, and it's kind of just like somebody happens to find your song and choose it and put it on a huge playlist, then, like, boom, your career can change overnight. Boom. We don't really get put on those, and I mean...
Well, when he says we don't really get put on, we don't get put on them.
Yeah, we don't get put on them.
Really, it's pretty,
So I just want to make it clear, there's no, like, inside baseball happening here.
Right.
We're doing it the old-fashioned way.
Right.
But I mean, honestly, there's no formula for what you can do. I think it needs to be a combination of good music that people relate to. Like we were talking about with social media, putting yourself as a human out there, connecting with others, making them want to cheer for you, want to support you. But then, of course, there's the things you can do. You can pitch your music to the playlists, both on Spotify and on other platforms. You can run marketing campaigns if you want to. You can find other artists to collaborate with, or other producers, or other people on social, or whatever it might be, to kind of help reach new fans. It's, in my opinion, one of the hardest things to do as an artist is kind of get from 0 to 1. Luckily we've been doing this for a really long time, and we crossed that bridge years ago, and so now it's really just sustaining what we've built already. But yeah, there's no formula. You just gotta kind of keep hustling and keep trying things until it works.
Keep playing out there, right?
Yeah,
keep playing
I think,
wherever.
One of the things that we benefited from, because the game it's a little different now than it was, and it's true of any social app. On Facebook now, you post something 5 years ago, your network sees it. Now there's algorithms and such at play. I'm sure there were before, but so on and so forth. But for us, for our first streams, or our earlier songs, I have a considerable amount of streams, which is great. And our newer songs, I think that we all feel are our best, if not certainly as good. And it's been a little bit more challenging, but you have to play the game. You have to be constantly creating content. You have to be lucky. You know, you have to. Also, collaborations are helpful as well. I mean, one of our most streamed song is a song that we collaborated with a. Where are they from? Is it Sweden? Is it
the Netherlands? I think.
from the
They're all over. There's a
like
label.
a DJ or somebody.
There's
who
a
like,
label. There's
Yeah.
there's an electronic music label. I think they're based in Germany, actually, in
Okay.
Berlin. Well, I know Henry Purnell is from Germany,
Right.
but either way, they have a bunch of different artists, DJs, and producers from mainly in Europe. And how did we connect with them in the first place? Did they reach out to us and
They
ask?
reached
if-
out to us, and I think you thought that it was like not a scam,
sort of a
but they were
scam
trying
or
to
Yeah,
get-
well, we get a lot of stuff like that. Also,
True,
so, in all
but-
fairness,
But me and Al, we said, you know, this seems right. Let's
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
And you're like, fine, if you guys want to do it, we'll do it.
we wound up doing a
as
bunch
long
of
as
things
it
with
doesn't
them, yeah.
like cost you any money up front. Usually they're asking for money up
Right,
front
right,
Right, right.
that they
I
need,
know,
and
they-
they're going to make you a big star.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
as soon as you give them the
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
Whenever
That's
as an
always when
artist,
you know.
Whenever
So many
you
people
hear
think
that,
often.
just immediately run the other direction.
Exactly.
But no, they actually. I think it maybe the thing that made me feel comfortable with it was they said, yeah, you know, well, one of the things we did was we wrote a top line and recorded the vocal for a produced track that this guy Henry Purnell on the label had already produced, and they said to us, you know, go record the vocals. We will pay upfront for the vocals to be recorded in a studio. And then, you know, this is the split, this is the deal. And for us, like, you know, it's fun, it's easy, and stuff like that is just sort of, you know, throwing more fuel on the fire and providing more opportunity for people to discover us who maybe wouldn't normally listen to our type of music, but hear our style and hear our voices and then kind of go and explore other stuff. We also did a few remixes with different artists on the same label of existing songs. We sent them the stems, they reimagined the songs. And all of those, I think, have been great for us. So yeah, I think collaborating doesn't need to be with an electronic music artist on the other side
Yeah.
of the world signed to a label, but with anyone really
Anybody,
is always
right.
an opportunity
Yeah.
to tap into a new audience.
That song in particular, we talked a little bit before about the formula. How do you write certain songs? What's the process? This one was a rare, sort of almost perfectly evenly split. We had the track, and we sat down and basically said, hey, everyone go in a different room, take 10 minutes and write what you think works. And I think what wound up happening is one of ours turned out to be the chorus, one happened to be the verse and melodies we're talking about, and the other one happened to be the pre. And there was this rare sort of everyone has representation, which was pretty cool.
yeah.
And now, if you go out to a club in Barcelona or something,
We
you might
danced to
hear
an
it bumping on
Islam
the
song.
speakers. Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's the advice. And people sometimes ask me, and I'm just like, play
Yeah.
in front of 10 people, play in front of 10,000, play in front of nobody. Just keep playing and playing and playing and playing and playing.
Yeah, it's consistency.
Just got to do it.
There's
well.
something that I heard in a book. I listen to books, so I heard
Right.
in a book that I was listening to. I forget the exact. There was a few analogies actually. One was about how bamboo grows. That it spends years and years like growing crazy root systems underneath the surface, and then all of a sudden, one day when it's least expected, they shoot out and grow 90 feet into the air in like 2 weeks.
Yes.
And I think that that's a good metaphor for how this stuff works sometimes. Like you think that when you play for 5 people, when you play for 10 people, when you put out a song and it gets 100 streams, you think like you're not really getting anywhere, but you are really building that foundation. And at the end of the day, it's like you're storing the potential energy. So when there is the right moment, when there's the right opportunity, the right song, the right whatever, all the work has been done and you can kind of capitalize on it.
Well,
so.
you heard it here first. Be bamboo.
Yes.
is what you have to do.
The bamboo.
Thanks for stopping by here, guys. We had such a great time today. Anytime I use the term "a good time," now I'm going to think of you guys.
Yes.
But we had a great
Trademark.
time here at Mercy College Studios in Dobbs Ferry, New York, right outside New York City. Thanks to Sam and the whole crew here, taking care of the sound and the video and doing a great job. And
Thank you all so much.
Thank
This
you
was
all.
awesome.
And
Yeah,
Robbie,
you guys are amazing. Thank you so much.
Lucas, Alex, thanks for playing great music. And I just want to say thanks for making uplifting music. It's feel-good music. The last time I went to a Coldplay concert I left the concert. It was this huge arena, and I just had this really calming sense and a feel-good vibe when I left the concert that everything was okay in the world. You guys have that vibe in your music.
Wow.
Never lose it.
Just got the chills.
And thanks for keep making music, and thanks for having fun with us today.
Amazing.
Thanks so
Thank you,
much.
Coach.
Thank
we
you.
appreciate
All
you.
right, East Love.
Peace.
Thanks for
Peace,
stopping in.
love.
Peace, love.